Hey guys, what's up? It's Robbie with Open World Games, and we are talking about Assassin's Creed Unity. This is going to be a 4-player cooperative game coming to the PS4, Xbox One, and PC. And guess what? You can expect a brand new trailer here very soon from Comic-Con. So write down July 24th through the 27th to expect a brand new trailer right here on Open World Games of Assassin's Creed Unity. But in this video, we get a treat from creative director Alex Amancio. He's going to go over a ton of details about Assassin's Creed Unity, including customization, co-op, story, map size, everything you want to know about Assassin's Creed Unity is basically right here in this video. And also for you Xbox 360 and PS3 users that feel left out, don't worry, you're going to be getting a brand new trailer of Assassin's Creed comments shortly, as Ubisoft has stated. So look forward to that very soon right here on Open World Games. But for now, guys, here is the in-depth look at Assassin's Creed Unity.
Hello, my name is Alex Amancio, and I'm the creative director of Assassin's Creed Unity. I'm here for you today, playing the demo of the game, and I'm also going to answer a few questions from the game community. Let's get started. Daniel Newman asks, why did you choose the French Revolution? Very good question. Assassin's Creed Unity is the first next-generation only iteration of Assassin's Creed. For this, we really wanted a fresh start. We want to go back to fundamentals, back to the basics, and that has a lot to do with large, sprawling urban centers. We looked at many cities around the world. We quickly fell upon Paris because it is still today the most visited city in the world. It's arguably the most beautiful city. It's certainly littered with monuments. So we had our city. So we looked back through the history of Paris and tried to find the most appropriate timeline for Assassin's Creed Unity. We really wanted to aim for massive crowds with the next-gen consoles. And when looking at the different timelines of Paris, the French Revolution was really a no-brainer. So very quickly we put those two things together and we had our timeline and we had our setting. Rick8Rook asks, in what direction is the Abstergo storyline set to go in the new game? Very good question again. I'm not going to go into too many details about the present-day storyline. One thing I can tell you though is that you, the player, will be the main protagonist of Assassin's Creed Unity. Bailey Denton, will there be any sign or mention of Ezio, Altair, Connor, or Edward? I mean, characters like Ezio or Altair are really famous, even within the Brotherhood, right? Because they did a lot of stuff that was very important for the progression of the Brotherhood through history. So there's bound to be mentions of those characters in the game. Jack Wilkinson, can we know the backstory behind the assassin without any campaign spoilers? Of course, I can tell you a little bit about Arnaud and his motivations. Arnaud is essentially on a redemption quest. He feels responsible for a tragedy that happens at the beginning of the story, and the assassins for him are sort of a means to an end. It's a means to achieve that redemption, at least at the beginning of the story. Kidda Harrington, will I understand the story of Assassin's Creed Unity if I have only played a small amount of the previous games? Yes, you will. Unity is the first iteration of this next generation, so we really wanted to start with a fresh start. Assassin's Creed 1 was released about in 2007. It's a long time, right? So it's just the right time with these new consoles to sort of start fresh and allow for new fans to come into the brand without having all the extra narrative baggage of the previous games. Another question from Alex Warman. In gameplay, there doesn't appear to be a point in the hood. Is that gone now? Actually, Arnaud has a point in his hood. Every assassin has a very unique suit, just to reinforce the assassin's uniqueness. Arnaud's point just happens to be a bit smaller than Ezio's, for example, but it's still there. A few questions about co-op. Rice Roberts asks, for the 4-player co-op, what can you customize? Can you customize your assassin? Very good question. You actually can. Everybody plays Arnaud, and from your perspective, you are Arnaud. The other friend of your friends that you're playing with, from their perspective, they are Arnaud. What you're seeing is actually their own unique setup in Facing their face, their Arnaud face, with an assassin face, right? From their perspective, they look at you, they see your own unique gear, but they see another assassin's face. It's sort of a mind trick, if you will, but it's the way that we were able to preserve strong focus on a strong, unique protagonist character. Now, what can you customize? You can play the game and collect skill points. Those skill points, you can purchase skills that actually reinforce the way you play the game. Also, you can collect gear elements. These gear elements, not only are they visually different, and you can actually have your own unique visual assassin, each of those gear elements actually has an impact on gameplay, and it actually, again, helps you reinforce the way you play the game. Macaulay Short, how does co-op affect level design and mission objectives? The entire game is not playable in co-op, only a certain percentage of missions, a special category of missions that we call the Brotherhood missions. These missions are especially designed to be co-op. They use what we call a black box design. Essentially, it's a 360-degree approach. They're open-ended missions with many ways to tackle a problem, many ways to approach. They're really built around the idea of complementary assassins, of using your imagination and finding unique, original ways of completing the mission. Can you play co-op with 2 players in the same room, or is it just people over the internet? You cannot play split-screen co-op. The co-op in Assassin's Creed Unity is always across the internet. Super Blick, why do co-op characters in the E3 demo look different in the CGI trailer, and what's their story? Those characters actually are there to represent the 4-player co-op, right? It's just to show that you can play 4 players. All of these characters, except for Arnaud, are just other players from their perspective. So, for example, if you're playing Arnaud, you're actually seeing yourself as Arnaud, you're seeing all your gear, you're looking at your friends, you see their unique gear. We wanted to preserve that because we want you to be able to ask your friend, where'd you get that cool hood? Well, I did this or that mission, or I purchased it here or there. So we really wanted to preserve that, but you're actually seeing over their unique gear, you're actually seeing another assassin's face. From their perspective, they look at it at themselves, they see their unique gear with Arnaud's face, they look at you, they see your unique gear with a different assassin face. So that's how it sort of works. So I would say those 4 characters are all Arnaud, but you're seeing them from one perspective, from the perspective of the player that is Arnaud. Some questions about the open world. William Sheen, how big will the map be? The city of Paris is by far the largest city that we've ever created in any Assassin's Creed game. I'm not going to go into specific metrics. What I can tell you is that if you take all of the dry landmass from Black Flag and clump it together, it's smaller than Paris. About 1/4 of the buildings have interiors in Unity. Plus you have monuments. All the major monuments have interiors. You have undergrounds like the catacombs, like the sewers. Essentially, the city is huge. It's also by far the densest city that we've ever created. Mike Rowe, will we be able to assassinate someone with the guillotine in either free roam or the story mode? Well, the guillotine is really a tool for the government, and it becomes a symbol for the reign of terror. So, it's not the assassin's tool. Your tool is the hidden blade. However, throughout the game, there will be public assassinations. You can actually go to the places where the guillotine was placed. There's actually 2 guillotines in the city of Paris. You can actually go there and see people being executed. We really try to preserve the veracity, the historical veracity of the setting. Jazzco, will boats or ships be playing a part? No. The only body of water we have in the game is La Seine. La Seine is much too narrow to have large ships or naval combat. The game is not about that. It's about, returning to a large, sprawling urban city, a really dense experience with, thousands of people on screen. Seb Grundy, with large catacombs to explore in Paris, are the Assassin's Tomb or Romulus Slayer type missions being reintroduced? Well, those missions, we created them because back then we actually couldn't go into monuments seamlessly. We couldn't go into interiors. We couldn't go into the undergrounds. So because we can do that seamlessly, it's just part of the same experience. We don't have to create special moments. However, I can tell you one thing. We have a couple of surprises, but I'm not just willing to talk about them right now. Max Desu Mitchell, will there be forms of transport again, like horses? I miss horses. Okay. Paris is much too dense of a city. There's a lot of people. So we felt the horse wasn't necessary, Also, a horse is a means to travel to get you from point A to point B. And the way we structured Unity is that we really wanted you to travel slowly across that city because it's really densely packed with opportunities and missions and loot. So if you're just zooming across the city, you're missing that opportunity. You know, it's just a different experience that we were going for. Michael Brook, can you tell us more about environmental traversal and what additions have been made to the parkour system? Very good question. The parkour system has been completely overhauled. I mean, this is not just an aesthetic thing. You know, the actual core of it has been redone completely in terms of code, in terms of design. Parkour was always about two different systems that were sort of working together in not so seamless way. There's Climb, which worked on a grid. It's a 30 centimeter metric grid. And then we have the free running system, which is actually based on, you know, you jumping from ingredient to ingredient. So you go from a box to a pole to a beam. And those two systems, wherever you went from one of those systems to the other, there was always a little bit of latency. It broke the flow of the navigation. What we really wanted to do with Unity was have a parkour system that was more organic. So those two systems are now seamless. You can actually start running up to a wall diagonally, go into Climb to parkour, free running seamlessly. It's much more freedom for the player, gives you much more agency, more control, and a lot more flow. So, you know, in the end, our parkour system is a lot more fun to play. Connor Curran, will there be more hidden weapon upgrades? We actually have a new iconic weapon. I mean, you might remember the hook blade from Revelations. I myself am always for integrating the iconic weapon into the actual hidden blade, not creating another weapon, but just using the hidden blade because it is the assassin's iconic weapon. And I also always like trying to bridge different pillars of the game together. You know, there's three major pillars in Assassin's Creed. There's combat, there's stealth, and there's navigation. If you look at the hook blade, what we did there was trying to bridge navigation with combat, and I think it was done pretty effectively. This time around, with the Phantom Blade, it's bridging combat with stealth. So you can actually use the hidden blade from a distance and kill or poison people. It gives you that extra edge in terms of stealth. And that's it. Thank you very much for tuning in and have a great day.